Can you see this? So I'll try to do this in a way that you can see it. Here we go. That might be better.
People know what a fuel band is, right?
What?
People know what a fuel band is, right?
Yeah, but look, I'm gonna hold it up.
Did you say where's your camera?
I can't. Yeah, it's like right there, but I'm like not able to turn it towards it. There we go. All right, so you can see here. I have a Nike Fuel Band that like it's an LED and it goes through like lots of different settings.
What is that? I don't understand. What's the point of this? I don't have any.
It's just got like a cool display. This is like essentially a pedometer. And
See,
go ahead.
It's
Go ahead.
still that kind of technology is still a high level of douche, isn't it?
Why?
Well, I mean, it is.
Techno weenie.
No, it is. I'll agree.
Is it?
It is?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What this is?
You're like, oh, look at me. I'm counting my steps, and I spent way too much money
Well,
on
and
this.
even if you try and be subtle about it, like
Well, I
some
mean,
people,
yeah, because it's a thing that's supposed to be functional, but I mean, theoretically, you could just put it in your pocket. You could have a thing.
I can't put it in my pocket. I
Well,
wish I
no,
could put it in my
they
pocket.
could
It's
put
like
they
a
could, they could,
Bluetooth
the thing-
earpiece.
They could sell a thing that wasn't a wristband that you put in your pocket, and it would work just fine.
Like a
But
Fitbit.
now it's
I'm
gotta be a
trying to help
wristband
out
so
with the
you can-
discussion of the iWatch.
No.
We turned this on you.
people
No,
want to
no.
talk about their fuel bands all the
You're
time.
an asshole. Everyone.
And sometimes subtly, like the other day, I was at dinner with someone, and someone was just like, I have a question about bubbles.
Okay.
So,
The
Well,
person.
no, like physical science bubbles.
Science bubbles.
Physical
Okay.
science bubbles.
So you're underwater, right?
Yeah. Okay. Right now, I'm role playing. Ready? I'm underwater.
You're underwater, you breathe out,
Go ahead.
and bubbles come out.
Mhm.
There's oxygen in the bubble, right?
There's some.
There's some.
Yeah.
Some.
Carbon dioxide and oxygen.
And oxygen.
What, nitrogen?
Sure.
You're right. There's some. In answer to your question, there's some oxygen.
So that means you don't use all your oxygen when you breathe it.
That's
Correct.
correct.
How much do you use?
Use a lot of it. I don't know. I don't know the percentage on
So
top
if
of my
I
head.
breathe, if I'm underwater and I breathe into a bucket, that'll push the water out and there'll be air in the bucket, right?
If there's enough pressure, yes. You still have to force the water level down.
Yeah, but I'm breathing air in it.
Also,
There has to be enough pressure.
Where does the pressure come from?
From inside you, the oxygen in your
So
lungs.
if there's not enough pressure, what does the bubble do?
It goes up in the bucket. You're right. It displaces the water.
Yeah. So I can then go in the
But
bucket.
if you're way
Okay.
deep underwater, you could compress the air. But go ahead.
If I'm in the bucket then, if I can breathe that again in the bucket.
Yes. You
So-
can, go
No,
ahead.
come
No, let him
problems.
finish.
all right.
So you're saying you can breathe underwater for an
I'm
indeterminate
saying-
amount of time, indefinitely, as long as you have a bucket.
I'm
That's what you're
saying,
You
You
guys
won't-
are trying to murder Gavin.
You won't drown as quick if you have a bucket. You just keep breathing your bucket, don't you?
You can only reuse that oxygen another 2 breaths, maybe.
So after the third breath, when you breathe out,
You are breathing, but you're not getting oxygen. You're still suffocate.
It is
So do you
possible
still-
that the mixture of oxygen in the air that we breathe is what our body can pull oxygen out of. And that is, as soon as you lower the amount of oxygen in the air, that you cannot survive because your body is not efficient enough to pull the oxygen out of that low level of an oxygen.
so would you still be blowing bubbles, but there wouldn't be any oxygen?
You're
The
still
bubbles
blowing
are
the
air.
same bubbles.
Bubbles are just gas.
Yeah.
That's what a bubble is.
Here, if next time you're making out with a girl, take a deep breath, inhale it, have her exhale, inhale it into her, then have her exhale it back into you and breathe it. Then do it again and see how.
Forever and ever, back and forth.
Yeah, and then watch. You'll be like taking in these giant
So it's
breaths,
like-
and you'll be like, "There's nothing in here."
You know
It's
what?
like
You've just
smoking a
discovered
girl.
the best way to commit suicide.
No, you
That's
also
just tape your mouth
discovered
in.
the best way to ruin a makeout session. Is what I heard.
No, it'd be awesome. You get really lightheaded. You'd smoke each other.
You'd smoke each other?
What was
Yeah,
that?
it'd be like smoking a woman.
So you have a terminology for this, but you don't understand that you still suffocate.
Be like smoking a woman. That is so awesome.
you'd be like,
you know what you need? You know
but
what we
nothing
need?
would be happening. You
We listen. I have a great idea. Can we please enroll Gavin in the Boy Scouts?
That
This
would
would
be
be
really
great.
funny. Like teach you
would
some
be
life
gr-
skills, turn you into a man finally.
He could probably kill off a couple kids.
You ever do that thing where you're making out with somebody and you clamp your mouth over their nose and blow? That's the best thing ever. It pisses people off big
I've
time.
never done
No.
that.
Just do that. Clamp your mouth. Next time you do this with your wife, don't watch the podcast, Esther. Clamp your mouth over her nose and blow, and she goes,
I had a roommate who did that to his dog constantly, which was horrible.
was the dog happy?
Nah, dog did not look happy.
I bumped my mic. Sorry, guys. Go get Rebel and find out.
I read about when
I just ruined. You think our audience has girlfriends? I think they're okay. They'll be fine.
you're gonna read something, Gus.
Here's something that,
An egg doesn't
it's
have
a
eggs
very
in it.
simple mathematical trend, but still is amazing to me. Joel, do you have any sisters?
I do not.
You do not. You're all boys in your family, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your mom had all boys, right? She had all boys. But your mom has a mother, because she's
Yes.
a person, they have mothers, who has to have a mother, who has a mother, who has a mother, who has a mother. Your mom, by having all boys, broke a line of women, a direct descendant of women that goes all the way back literally to the beginning of time. To me, that's
Weird.
That's an interesting biological
So
fact.
what you're saying is that I am the Antichrist.
No, I think
Yeah, but that's one of those
It all
things-
makes sense now.
My mom's the same way.
That's one of those things that sounds interesting, but it isn't.
Well, it sounds.
Well, I mean, it's when you word it like that, it's mental.
Yeah.
She broke a line that goes back to
Which
the
is
beginning
true.
of time.
So how do you word it so it's
I
not?
feel really depressed now.
How is that less interesting than half egg, half Jew?
no.
Explain that to me.
But another way to word it is that there was a 50% chance of her having a boy, so she did that.
No, she had how many? Well, it's not going to Joel's family, but she had multiple kids and she had all boys. It's just interesting that there was this trend of straight line of women all the way down through time, and Joel's mom ended it. And my mom, same thing, she ended it. If you have all same-sex kids, you break that chain.
Yeah, but when there's one origin splitting in so many directions, there's gonna be lines ending all over the gaff.
But this is a long fucking line that came to an end this generation.
Any web will go back to the beginning, though, won't it?
Any web will go back to the beginning. The beginning of the web? Is that what you're saying? The spider butt?
He's saying anyone who's alive right now ultimately can trace their way back to
Yeah.
the beginning.
I'm depressed.
No, like
I have no idea how that makes it more interesting or less interesting. I don't even know what you're trying to say at this point.
Yeah, how is it less? It's a chain, and the fact that other people have like different sex children.
but you make it
continues
sound
to go
like
on.
it's a mental event.
It's a very simple. That's what's amazing about it, Gavin. It's a simple mathematical equation applied basically over almost infinity. That's what makes it interesting. That this is like an endless chain of women that goes all the way back to the beginning of time.
yeah,
Think
but that's
about
like
that.
saying, okay, say she used a computer
It's simple.
and her mother didn't. She broke a line of people back to the beginning of time who never used a
So-
computer.
But
so
that's
what?
totally
They
different.
didn't have computers.
Computers didn't exist back then, but women did.
and they all
Alright.
had babies.
Or say she ate a prawn or something. They existed.
So, but what Gavin is saying
That would be
is that
interesting.
what-
If you're the only person in your entire history of your entire lineage through time that ever ate a prawn.
I'm here to support you. Basically, what you're saying
Look who's
is,
on your side.
what you're saying is this happens all the time.
It happens all the
It
time.
happens all the time.
That's what makes it amazing.
It's not nothing that happens all the time is amazing.
You were literally everybody was in their grandmother's room. You think that's fucking amazing? That literally happens to everybody. Every
it's
single
not
fucking
amazing.
person.
It's just something that was there that happens.
So why'd you bring it up?
All right.
Why does my thing have to be interesting and your thing just has to be sad?
Because mine was a pre-story about the story about picking eggs.
What's a pre-story?
It's
What
like
is
an
that?
appetizer. You like a little story to get you
Yeah.
like interested in the next story.
The bottom
just
line
jealous.
is that everyone should have more sex.
Yeah? I'm with Joel.
I've solved the problem.
All right. Well, we will go there.
The other day I was in my house
Very
and I
stressful.
have tile floors, and I was pulling my iPhone out of my pocket and it slipped out of my hand and was falling over the tile. And then with my I knew I was gonna reach it in time. With my foot, I kicked it because there was a rug on the other side of the room, and I kicked it so it didn't land on the tile, and it went across the room and landed on the rug, and I was like, yes! And I walked over, totally fine. Like I said, I like saved it.
I'm glad there's a camera in your house.
I walked up to a. I had a glass
What phone do
in
you
my
have?
hand. I walked up to my freezer. I opened the freezer. An ice cube fell out. I hacky sacked the ice cube. It went up and over behind me, and I stuck my foot out and hacky sacked it again. It came back up over my head and landed in the glass.
No way.
Good.
And I'm
God.
like, and there's no one. And now this is why you should have a camera. No one
Yeah.
ever fucking sees this stuff. But this, I don't know. I don't know what the point of that was.
Shut up.
When you drive in this country,
Go ahead.
Are you conscious of how much money you spend on gas?
I am
No.
now. I moved farther away from the office.
Because
I'm
I
conscious of it.
don't drive, so I never take in this information. But I was
He
just
didn't really care about my answer to the question. He
No.
just asked the question so he could tell his fucking story.
what
That's
was
exactly
what was so interesting about your answer?
What's that?
Is he your
You asked the
psychiatrist?
question.
You asked the goddamn
it doesn't
question.
matter
and
if
I
it's
answered
interesting
it.
or not. You asked the question, you have to receive the answer.
I received it.
No, you didn't.
No, I
What was
didn't.
his answer?
Something about driving or something.
See, you didn't. You
prick.
are one of
You
those people
fucking prick.
who ask a question only to tell a story. You don't give a fuck about the information being given to you.
But that's
So then don't go through that step. Just start talking.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, right? What was I talking about?
I don't know. I don't know.
See, we're listening to you, so I can tell you. You were talking about
Hey,
spending
Gavin, when you're
gas
driving
and
around
noticing.
Austin, do you worry about how much gas you spend while driving? Do you worry about that?
I'm
Do
gonna
you
tell.
worry about
I
it?
heard.
I'm trying to prompt you for your story. When you drive around Austin, do you ever worry about how much gas you're spending?
I don't drive the cars though. I don't drive in a car.
What's your story? For God's sake.
Yeah. I mean,
Gavin,
there's a
what is
point,
your
right?
fucking story, please? What is
Anyway,
it?
right, so... no.
Is it Dick Sticks Dicks? Is that what you were gonna say?
So in the US, what's the price of gas right now? Like 3 something.
360.
You know, I used to
360.
pride myself on never knowing what the weather or the price of gas was.
Yeah.
Just because I couldn't affect either. So
I figured 2 things. Like, I don't care what I spend on gas or beer. Those are 2 things.
Okay,
Constant.
fair
I made
enough.
a just decision.
Yeah.
So-
Go ahead, Gabo. So price of gas is about $3.50.
Yeah, and I was looking at the boards in the UK. I was just there yesterday,
Yeah,
and it said 150 or something
per liter.
per liter. That's the thing. So I was transferring that to dollars, and it was like $2 something. But
Doesn't sound
then
right. It's probably more expensive.
I didn't know how many liters were in a gallon.
3.75.
It's
Is
more
that
than
right? You knew that off the top of your head?
Yeah,
No, it's 4.
no, it's 3.75.
No, it's not 3.75. It's more.
It's 3.75 liters to the gallon.
No, it's not
We
3.75.
already asked him in that short a period of time. We said, Gus, do you know? He's like, oh yeah, I absolutely know it's this. And we were like, are you sure? And he's like, no, it's 3.75. I mean, we had like 20
You're like, it's
conversations
way
there.
more than that.
And
It's
then
4.
and you were like, no, I'm not sure. I'm gonna.
Anyway, so it was I figured out it was the equivalent of if you convert our amount to dollars and then multiply it by
7.5.
It was like $8.90
Right.
instead of $3.50.
Really expensive.
It's over double. That's mental.
Yeah, it's
and
gonna
that
get
was my
worse, too.
story. I was saying it's cheap as cocks here. Why is it so cheap?
It's not. Well, historically, it's not cheap. It's cheap relative to UK.
Would you drive as much if you spent $8.90 per?
By the way, I'm sorry. 1 gallon is 3.785 liters. I was off by 3/100ths of a fucking liter, you goddamn retard.
Anger. We need to have like.
It's way more than that. It's like 4.
That's what it's for.
Wait, was that what was it?
3.785.
Was that US or UK? On the different. No, but there's difference in gallons, isn't there? There's a metric ton and an imperial ton.
I'm gonna fucking
Yeah, but a gallon's a gallon.
Is a gallon a US gallon and different to a UK gallon?
No, a gallon is a gallon.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Yes.
A gallon is a gallon.
Is there?
Although I do
would
have
you
to
say
ask,
imperial gallon?
Why do we have dry
Is that a
measure?
real thing?
Well, there's imperial and
imperial?
metric, isn't there?
It's weight versus volume.
Like, what system are you on? You're not metric. You are.
I mean, at this point, I'm on the whiskey system.
Right.
But imperial
Joel's
gallon?
like a plus 15 right now.
I'm at a plus 15 right now.
So why are there dry measuring cups and liquid measuring cups? What?
No, I know, right?
Why is that?
I mean,
It's different volumes, right? Like a liquid has no space, has no air between it, but dry goods do.
Okay.
But
like
dry
pancake mix,
goods
you got to
are-
use the scoops, and then when they put the water or the milk in, you got to use the cup.
Yeah.
Why? What's that? What's that?
know.
Why? Is it a different measurement? Like if I should do this at home. If I take the cup and I pour it into a cup,
Yeah, how it doesn't match up.
right?
Yeah,
all
I don't
bullshit
know.
anyway.
Suck my knob! The US liquid gallon is 3.785 liters. The imperial gallon is 4.5 liters.
whoa.
Why do you all have your own gallon?
Wow.
Suck my knob!
Is that true?
Wow.
All right, Gavin wins.
Wow.
No, but if he's converting it to American, you have to use the American gallon to make that conversion.
Oh yeah.
Oh, his knob's getting sucked now.
What are you doing? What happened?
For the whole point of his story is to compare it to American prices. We don't use a fucking imperial gallon. Or whatever
By the
your
way,
stupid gallon
the
is.
shot on your crotch when he did that was unbelievable. That should absolutely be a gift.
Every single podcast always breaks down to like units of measurement. Every
Yeah, well, if
single
I'm on
fucking
it,
one.
yeah.
Units of measurement.
Let's pre-order
I'm
them.
down.
Let's have a Kickstarter.
Let's sell oxygen buckets. That's what I think I'm going to sell.
Live
Gavin
forever
Freeze
underwater.
Oxygen buckets. We'll just put them on our head and
I mean,
breathe
but
forever.
why isn't a bucket a part of a
Because
drowning
dumbass,
kit?
you would cut eye holes in it and all the air would get out. That's what I can tell you. You would fucking die, but
What?
you'd see yourself dying.
Even if I did cut eye holes out, the bit above my eye is still breathable.
Wait,
Burnie.
your mouth isn't. Your mouth isn't above your eyes. Your hair would breathe, and that was it.
Can you breathe? Can you breathe up here? Because I sure as fuck can't. You're gonna put your head up? Then why do you have the eye holes?
Gavin, how have you lived this long? I mean, that is a mathematical anomaly that you're alive.
Maybe you need the Boy Scouts.
You can
We
breathe up a
need
bucket.
to enroll him in the Boy Scouts.
If say you went really deep,
Really deep.
to the point where you can't swim up on one breath.
Okay.
Bucket of air will.
If you're gonna bring the bucket, bring a scuba tank.
No, and if you've got a bucket, it makes you lighter.
How?
Because it'll pull you up because it's air.
Because it's your air that you blew out of your body. How does that make it less light?
Well, no,
You're a whole unit.
That's going to be a big bucket.
No, it doesn't. It's a regular bucket.
You're going to
right,
need.
because it's not air from the air, it's from my lungs.
Right, and you blew it out, and you're all being connected. It's all the same air. It's like somebody
It's like
posted-
how the Earth doesn't get heavier if you put more buildings on it.
Exactly. Unless you build them out of meteors or something like
We're gonna take moon rock and build a skyscraper out of it.
that. Gavin Freeze.
Oh, you
corporate
know what?
headquarters
We are. We
for
are. We
oxygen
all
buckets.
get hit by meteors. How many meteors do we get hit by in a week?
I don't know.
Hundreds.
Yeah, lots
But
of
they're
them.
small.
Yeah.
So slowly. I mean, really slowly.
I know Gavin would start the oxygen bucket company, and he would make a miscalculation between imperial gallons and U.S. gallons, and he would immediately
People
die.
wanted their money back because they didn't get quite. They got
Oh,
bloody
man.
US gallon out of it.
Have you ever done any like free diving or anything like that?
What's free diving?
It's without a scuba tank or anything like
Does
that.
snorkeling?
Yeah.
No, I can't breathe underwater. I can't use a snorkel.
Can
You
not
can't breathe underwater.
No, I can't.
Really?
I can't. I
Tell us
don't have the
more.
guts to take a breath in
Tell us
while I'm
more.
in water.
The survival instinct with you is strong.
Well, yeah, like even if
The
I
rest
got-
of your body is saying, "Hey,
Well,
Gavin, I'm underwater."
I didn't evolve with a tube to the surface, did I?
You evolved
So-
with a fucking brain that tells you how to do things.
Have you?
But you
Maybe
some-
not in
some
your
things are
case.
against your nature. Like if I'm underwater and I'm gonna breathe in,
Yeah.
my body's like, oh, are you sure? You're underwater. Do you want to breathe?
Yes. And you tell it, yes, I am sure.
I'm
Thank you
not-
for asking.
I don't trust it.
So you never climbed a tree?
No, I'll climb a tree
Okay. Even though you could fall out of the tree and die, and that's bad.
because I've evolved with trees.
I
didn't
You-
evolve.
Did you not evolve with water?
I didn't evolve with a bloody snorkel around, did I?
You didn't evolve climbing trees.
Yeah, you don't have wings either. So
what
you can still
about?
climb a tree.
I'm not sure this conversation is evolving. I feel like we're
We're
devolving.
definitely
I'm saying
devolving.
there's trees everywhere. I can
Well,
get.
why water?
There's
Why is
water
the one thing
everywhere.
you're
There's
carving
water
out of
everywhere,
this?
and I climb trees and I don't breathe underwater. It's not like if I climb a tree, I'm gonna suffocate. What are you talking about?
But you could
Well, I
fall
need
out
a
of the tree and
downward
die.
snorkel if
You
I
could fall
climb
out of the tree and die. Right? You could fall out of a tree and you could die.
I guess you could.
Yeah, there you go. So don't clearly you don't climb trees. You don't have a tail.
So you can.
Don't have the same survival instincts for climbing.
So you've snorkeled.
Let me
Have-
give you
have
the
you
first-
snor-
let me
have
give
you
the
s-
first rule of going underwater, okay? Don't breathe. That's the first rule. Don't try to breathe.
Have
You'll
you?
be fine.
Have you snorkeled?
So
Yes,
yeah,
of
why
course.
did you
Have
ask
snor-
about
have
free
you
diving?
snorkeled?
I'm just curious.
Yes.
I'm just
I've
curious.
never snorkeled.
Hey, I lived in Puerto Rico
You
for
wanna go?
a year and a half.
Assume.
Yeah.
That's
You've
not
never had a
me.
genetic clone.
I'm gonna make that assumption.
But what is you? What is the piece
What
of you
is
that
you?
makes you? Is it the chemical in your
that
brain?
egg is not gonna have all the fucking pain.
So
That's
I-
a very
that I
good
have.
question.
But, like, which bit of
Gavin,
you is you?
What
The
is
pain
the
makes me.
smallest? What is the smallest portion of you that is you? Like
And I
when you
imagine
cut
it's
off your
some sort of
arms.
squishy liquid in my head.
We could call it. So it's in your head somewhere,
well,
Well, it's not in my
brain.
arm.
right?
So your arm, if you cut your arm off and your arm was laying there on the floor, that's not Gavin.
That's not
Gavin
me.
is still here.
That's the limb I used to use.
If we cut off,
Wait, which arm is it?
I'm saying, so if we cut off both your arms and both your legs and they were right there, that's not Gavin.
No.
Gavin is this.
Well, because that's when people
Stumpy
say,
torso.
"Oh, someone chopped my head off." You're really saying someone chopped my body off, my head.
Okay.
You don't
So-
get.
That's
You
a
don't,
very good point.
You don't
Yeah.
get beheaded.
No,
you get
yeah,
the body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I never thought of it that way. You blew my mind.
You are
Did I
absolutely
really?
You
correct.
blew my mind.
I blew Gus's mind.
That's absolutely
The
correct.
twinkle, twinkle,
You-
little
you,
star
you can blow me
alphabet
later
song.
too. So I was reading this story the other day about how if
If you, if you blew Gus's mind, you actually then blew Gus. Just to put it in perspective of what you just said.